The third question was, how do you get enough people to do it? How do you actually grow this process? And we tried lots of different strategies. We tried going through workplaces, service clubs, social networks, faith-based groups, and neighborhoods. And when we got to neighborhood, and this is again another one of the WeMap learnings we had, was when we got to the neighborhood, we found that we had co-benefits. It wasn't just saving the planet, doing the right thing. It was getting to know my neighbors. It was creating a healthier, safer neighborhood for my children. When you brought those three things together, and we did some market research, and this was the script we created. Hi, I'm your neighbor from up the street. I'd like to invite you to a neighborhood gathering this Thursday night in my home. So, connectivity. To learn about a program sponsored by the city of Portland, or Philadelphia, or Columbus, or some of the other cities we worked in. It will help us learn how to conserve resources for the sake of our children. Carefully crafted intergenerational moral piece. To get to know each other better as neighbors, the WeMap, and to create a healthier, safer neighborhood. 85% of the people who heard that were interested, well into the late majority. 45% came, 75% said yes. We were getting a 25% recruitment rate in Columbus, Ohio, Kansas City, Missouri, and Portland, Oregon. So it wasn't just your green early adopters. Those three things together created the foundation of getting people. And that was an amazing breakthrough. We were able to then have that. So then the next step was hitting the tipping points. And what we found was we were able to diffuse on many, many blocks to 85%. Many neighborhoods, we diffused to 85% of the blocks. We had ultimately 25 cities participating in this program. It diffused to 22 countries, 21 other countries. We also found that it wasn't just diffusing this program, it was diffusing a new thinking pattern for policymakers. In the Netherlands, they called it social instruments. So we started putting behavior change on the map of policymakers. And then through the media, we started diffusing an environmentally sustainable lifestyle, the whole notion of living in a different way. So those were some of the tipping points we hit. But we also found that the process was transformative, impacted in 4 different ways. One, we began to move the notion from city and citizen as adversaries. You speak to a local government official, and they think of citizens as someone who's going to attack them for something they're not doing right, to partners. We're doing our part, we need you to do your part. We've moved people from wasteful use of resources to more environmentally sustainable lifestyles. And we began to move from isolation and alienation to livable neighborhoods and citizenship, moving from entitlement and critic to a participant. So social change 2.0 meets global warming. Some simple facts, you know, we're a significant part of the footprint. We're half of the total. Half of the American footprint is residential. It's a big one. In a community, 50 to 90% of the footprint is residential. Leverage point. Getting individual households in communities to reduce their footprint is a driver. It's a lever. So we built this program, low carbon diet. We got a 22% carbon reduction on average. And the rest of this starts to explain the program. I won't go into a lot of detail on that. But basically, it follows the same format, 24 actions in these 3 different categories. People calculate their footprint, then they choose which actions they're going to reduce, and they can become up to carbon neutral. The meeting process that I went through, again, applied to this. Simple actions, again, carefully crafted in a certain way, positive imagery, pulls people in, 1 page, gets them going. These are sample examples, and this is going to be available online. I think it'll be on the website, so you can have access to this slideshow if you wish. Here's the action plan they use. Here's how the meetings work. And last but not least, the movement, what's actually on the ground. So what we've been trying to do is empower early adopter communities to set and achieve measurable carbon reduction goals using this methodology. We've built this organizational chart where local government, business, and individual community groups come together. They commit to forming eco-teams and rolling it out through the community. I won't go into the detail of the scaling strategy, but very simply, it's a wholesale approach. Groups take on commitment to start eco-teams, and then we keep track and measure and scale. This particular thing lays out the actual numbers of how you get from up to 25, from a minimum of 25 up to 85%. We've also got a way of engaging college students to take this issue on. We call it the Cool Community Corps. Corporations are taking this issue on. We call it the Cool Corporate Citizen in volunteer programs. So finding access where the volunteer energy is in the communities and in the country. We measure and we do feedback so we can watch the drops filling the bucket. And we created something, again, this last piece I want to speak to, we called it a Global Warming Cafe, which is another WeMap. It's getting people together around tables like this to talk about their fears and their hopes. And this has taken off. It's been very, very powerful. And it gets people to talk emotionally about the issue. Then we lay out the presentation of how it works. And then we invite people to start these teams. And this was one we did in where we are. We had 250 people attend. Out of that, we formed 22 eco-teams. Some of you may know the World Cafe process of working with writing on the table and exchanging ideas and then crafting it into a chart so you can see the whole collective learning, the collective intelligence. So what's on the ground now is 300 communities in the United States have taken this up. There's hundreds of global warming cafes going on all over the country. And we've partnered with Al Gore, and he and his 1,000 slideshow presenters are seeding these campaigns. So there is an emerging movement to take this issue on. And in Massachusetts, we've got 9 communities that are scaling it up. They've committed to a 25% reduction goal per household and between 25 and 85% of the residents in 3 years. And we're building their capacity. Those are the cities. Any of you live in Massachusetts? So check it out. This is the footprint, half of the state, 12 million tons is the goal. They've already tested it, and this is what it looks like as it starts to scale up. And my last parting thought before I take any of your questions. This is my mantra, and our mantra, I believe. Rilke says it well. Again and again in history, some people wake up, they have no ground in the crowd, and they move to broader, deeper laws. They carry strange customs with them and demand room for bold and audacious action. The future speaks ruthlessly through them. They change the world. So, thank you.